Hello, and welcome to the Abusecartoons livestream. Another week of drawing and talking through this cartoon. So I hope everyone is doing well. We're in the grip of winter. It's the coldest it's been so far this year, so just above freezing. I'm sure for a lot of people that's nothing, but it's yeah, it's pretty rough right now just because of the wind. Alright, but I hope everyone is doing well, and yeah, that the end of the year is not fraught with a lot of depression and misery. It used to be pretty bad. Like living abroad, it used to be a pretty difficult time of year because it was always, traveling, especially with kids, bring the kids back to see the grandparents and stuff. And so if there's no traveling, like hasn't been for the past few years, it's pretty depressing. But I guess I've just normalized a bit. Yeah, hasn't been so bad. But it's always strange, like right after the holidays, like January is a big death time. Like a lot of people that have just been hanging on until hanging on for the holidays or whatever the strange human motivation is. And then once there's nothing left to look forward to, then that's it. And I think too, if you that may be part of the reason that people like to retire to warm climates. I mean, winter gets more difficult the older you get, but then also you don't have that crazy, hopeless, low light, low sunlight level feeling when it's the hardest to handle. Oh, yeah, I was thinking about some Christmas card thing. Let me draw some card shapes and see if it inspires anything. Yeah, there's no way. I guess I can do like one of those musical cards with the push the button and it has that little chip in it playing some horrible chiptune music. Yeah, that might be a good joke. Christmas cards, and one of them has the I guess I can draw it. Has the button. Yeah, it's actually just kind of like an indentation, isn't it? Maybe a little bit higher so I can avoid the eyes. It just says push. Yeah, something like that. So maybe some envelopes. Yeah, I draw envelopes a lot like this, but I don't think anybody actually opens envelopes like that. But at least it looks like a torn open envelope. Yeah, I think that will work for the first one. More Christmas. Yeah, Christmas ideas come easier because they're so much to complain about, or so much to be distracted by with holiday stuff. Yeah, the winds here are not good. And we've got this ridiculous tree near the house that has these leaves like bigger than your head that it drops. So when it's windy like this, it just gets covered with these giant leaves. And of course, the guy that owns the property, they do nothing to maintain that tree. So huge branches fall off of it and crush houses, and these leaves just terrorize everywhere, dropping like all kinds of stuff that has to be swept up. And the local township or whatever has a little program for where people sweep the stairs and things, all the public spaces. And their work is tripled because of this idiot and his like ungodly tree. That's such suburban crap. That's the thing. I like being away from the city, but I hate the bedroom community suburbia nonsense. Hey, unknown girl, how's it going? Just got the notification. Yeah, I just started a little bit ago. But yeah, I didn't check on my phone if it went out either. It hasn't been. And for some reason, the text didn't save. I had to re-input the text on YouTube for the description. Yeah, it's weird. It just had the default in there. But we've got some nostalgic bread snacks to try. It's kind of weird because it's nostalgia for things that I have no nostalgia for, but it'll be fun to see like what what it actually is. And we can talk a little bit about this weird culture clash that happened in public schools in Japan. Yeah, I should see if there's any writing about that. Yeah. Oh no. Nice. Yeah, my phone has been well. That stupid Marvel Snap game it's horribly not optimized for cell phones. So whatever the engine is that's running it, it does all the card effects and stuff when you're playing cards. Is like each if a card is themed by a specific superhero or villain, it'll have like Spider-Man cards shoot webs and all kinds of nonsense like that. And it must be some 3D effects or something that they're running, so it just eats the memory on your phone really fast. Like just opening it, my phone's already at 80%. It's really terrible. So yeah, that was the same thing. I remember when my daughter was here that summer that Pokemon Go launched. That was another that had a like a 3D AR interface and stuff too. But that ate batteries like crazy. So you could always tell people that were playing that game because they're walking around with their phone connected to one of those portable chargers. Yeah. And I've already talked about this, but I've seen, so old people really got obsessed. Older people, like people over 50, got obsessed with, like myself. Oh, Jesus. Got obsessed with Pokemon Go here. Maybe retirees, like over 60. And there's some old guys driving with mobile phone clips on their bicycles. So they're riding bicycles, and they've got like half a dozen smartphones all running Pokemon Go, and they're like, collecting Pokemon, riding their bike around from location to location because it's all like GPS based stuff. Oh yeah, I think it's just poorly written apps. Facebook was like that too. I deleted the Facebook app a long time ago and only just go to it through the web browser because it was just, it just wanted to like be always on and paying attention to every sort of notification, and I think that's a big part of it. They just, these are just poorly written. These, there's so many people that are so bad at their jobs, especially in software and in UI UX design and stuff. People that are so bad, but they never lose their jobs for their incompetence. They just keep bumbling along, and probably because they're working for less than they're not making as much money as they should, and they work insanely long hours. So nobody cares. Mm. Mm. Yeah, it's funny. All right. So, another holiday idea. Yeah, I haven't even bothered because I don't want to. There's nothing I really want to watch on TikTok. I don't want to be screamed at by woke people, and I don't want to watch children dance. So I haven't installed TikTok. But I can imagine that thing eats all kinds of battery. Yeah, it's just poorly designed apps, and they don't give you, or a lot of times they do, but it's not well documented, like what you should do to minimize the power and how much power it uses. Yeah, stuff is exhausting. And I'm sure the Facebook app is fine now, but I almost have no use for Facebook anymore. I barely use it, so they blew it. Like the time when I would have needed it or used it for promoting things and like the gallery and everything, that's gone. So there's no reason to do it. And once they started pulling those dirty tricks where they weren't even letting you have access to your followers without paying them, I still wonder if that's going to show up. I mean, if the American government gets bored and they start to, want to harass the tech industry, I wonder if that's going to come up. There'll be hearings for that, about how shady that a practice that is to support, because it's a great way to get your ad revenue up, is just gate everybody's posts. Oh, you wanted to actually let people see this stuff? Well, you're going to have to pay us. It's really affordable, though. Check out our rates. Now I'm drawing bread. I've got bread on the on the mind. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I've heard like tabletop RPG TikTok has some pretty interesting ideas and stuff. People are playing around with it, but yeah. So of course I have a very jaded view of what's on there, and I'm just afraid of because it sends you things. It recommends things that it think you will like. So I don't want to get on there and start watching trash and just have this whole stream of trash recommended to me. I can survive enough if like something is posted on TikTok, like looking at it, it'll prompt you to install the app, but looking at it through the web page, or if somebody puts the video on YouTube or whatever. Endless. Sounds like they're actually working on the house again next door. Yeah, it's been very erratic, the construction. Just some days they're not here. Maybe they're just like waiting, for certain availabilities and stuff. Because I think construction is surprisingly busy. And maybe before the end of the year and stuff. Things that need to get done. Yeah, I heard during this summer there were shortages of chips and things for air conditioning units, and you either couldn't get the physical unit or couldn't get someone to install it. So people that had air conditioning die on them just suffered all summer. All right. Snowball? I don't know. Yeah. Let's try a little more round. A snowball as a wannabe Christmas ornament. Alright. So I can do a little melting puddle. What else would want to be a Christmas ornament that is inappropriate? How about an orange? Yeah, always it seemed like there was so much. I don't know what that was, but there were so many oranges. Maybe that was just a comment. Oh, yeah, I think it was probably like retired relatives sending, Christmas presents, like retired to Florida. So most relatives were like Midwest or East Coast. So maybe a lot of relatives that retired to Florida would send oranges and things as Christmas gifts to make us envious. What's another round thing that would not make a Christmas ornament but might want to be? Oh, you live stream. Oh, nice. Oh, interesting. So the live stream is just live and then there's no archive. Interesting. Yeah, and then there's all kinds of tricky. I didn't realize that we had to. There's a little house that my wife's family owns that my daughter stayed in when she was visiting, so they could kind of have their own place and be kind of a little separate when she was here with her boyfriend. And we had to put an air conditioner in there, and the base price was pretty decent, and it was and we wanted 2 units because in Japan each room has a unit. Basically, there's no centralized air, there's no ducts or anything. So any major room or major living space, like a sleeping space and a living space, you want to put a unit in it. So we ordered 2 units and pretty reasonable installation. But then when they got here, they're like, "Oh, it was on a second floor. Well, that's going to mean this, this, and this," and it doubled the price. And we're like, "Okay, forget that. Then cancel that." And the uh, first unit, they so it's a tiny 2-story house, and usually they put the outside unit, the one with the fan and the whatever. I don't know the names of the two components of the air conditioner, but the like the condenser or whatever that goes outside. That kicks out all the air, the hot air and everything. That was on the second floor, the kind of the eave of the house on the second floor, just out of the way. Instead, they put it right in front of the house, like literally like right in front of a door. And that was it. If we wanted it anywhere else, it was going to be so much extra. So yeah, that's where they get you. Kind of like in America, moving companies do that to you. They have all your stuff on a truck, and then they get to your house and they're like, "Oh, this driveway is pretty long, or there's some mud there, so we're gonna have to put down some boards or some something to cut. It's going to be extra." Yeah, they because they have all your stuff ransomed, they can do whatever they want as far as nickel and diming you. And it's probably, there's some reference to it in the contract you sign. So you give them permission to try to screw you once they drive halfway across the country and have all your stuff in the back of a trailer, or in the back of a tractor trailer. Yeah, installation. You would think so, but I think built into those installation contracts is always, if there's unforeseen things, we have a price schedule for different things. And it's a lot of like the minimal install was very ugly. Like they don't cover, like they just put the outlet tubes and everything just hanging off the side of the house, and they don't do that thing where they kind of cover it with that kind of whatever. I don't know the name for anything, but where they cover it and kind of keep it protected. They don't do any of that, and a lot of that stuff is available at DIY. So it's probably just as easy for me to do it as to pay them too much to do it. But yeah, it was real. So that's why the price was so affordable. But actually, with the minimal work that they do, it's not a very good price, because I'm sure if you paid a different installer a little bit more, they would it'd be better value for whatever service. What's another thing that would make a terrible Christmas ornament that might aspire to be a Christmas tree ornament? Like a pair of socks wadded up. I don't know if I can draw that convincingly. Yeah, you would think. There's always things like that. The like used cars is always a nightmare in America. That's why a lot of these websites and stuff that like search low prices and like deliver cars to you and stuff, so you don't have to deal with the salesman. That's pretty bad in America. And surprisingly, mattresses. Buying a mattress is a freaking nightmare. We did that in Chicago, I think. It was the first time we had to buy a mattress, and it was the worst experience ever. Because the mattress industry, unless you just pay, you're just going to say, okay, I'm going to pay 10 grand for the best mattress I can find from a department store, and it's the markup is insane and everything. If you price shop and compare, they defeat that your ability to do that by every company names every mattress something different. So the manufacturer will be the same, but every mattress is named something different. So you can't. There's no apples to apples kind of comparison for any of these beds, and it's really shady. It's really shady how they do stuff, and you don't even know. And I think that's why there's all those funny tags and things on mattresses in America that say "Do not remove under penalty of law," and that's for the the sales. That's for the retail end of it, because they're so shady about switching tags and switching brands and trying to sell you a cheaper model marked as something. And if you have this idea that like some brand like Sealy Posturepedic or some brand is this, that's the brand I want and that's the quality, so I'm going to try to stick to this brand, they'll basically be selling you something like this inferior version of that, but it still has that branding. So it's really weird. It was just a nightmare to to try to price shop for mattresses. You just have to get screwed. You just have to get totally hosed, because there's zero consistency in the industry. So nobody has the same mattress. Like no two places have the exact same mattress. Everything has different model numbers and names, and there's nothing comparable. And the prices vary insanely. The prices vary by thousands of dollars. And it's just like, okay, I don't know what the hell we're buying. I was really surprised by that. We might have just walked into, as suckers, walked into some mattress ghetto or whatever. I have no idea what happened. But yeah, so mattresses. And there's one other thing that I was surprised how shady the business practices are, and it's just kind of tolerated. This isn't going to look like watered up or folded on themselves socks. It looks like some kind of alien mattress. Yeah, it was really, really weird. But so you go to an area that has a few different stores, and you can go between the two stores, and they have already defeated that. They don't want you to do that, so they've defeated your ability to do that with all their little tricks. Yeah, because eventually, it was like the third time we came back to the same shop, and he's like, okay, you want this mattress? I give you this mattress. It's the exact same thing that they have there, and we'll give it to you for this price. And of course, he had an accent, and I was like, okay, so what are we even doing? What's going on? What is this? If that's possible, what have we been doing this whole time? Yeah, what was the other thing that was like surprisingly treacherous? Yeah, the major appliances isn't too bad. I think it's pretty well regulated. Even in Japan too, you can price shop and find a good deal on a refrigerator or like a washer dryer kind of thing. I forget what the other thing is. I'm like, this is insane how bad this is. I had some weird trouble with moving truck rentals. Like the last time I rented a moving truck, the two young kids, and I was already in my 30s, so I wasn't old, but they were young, kind of university aged jackasses running the rental place. And it was one of those rental places in a hardware store or something. And they had this big thing about, we have to have your license, your insurance. We have to have your auto insurance on file. I was like, okay, well then just make a copy of it, whatever. No. We have to have the original. I'm like, you have to have my original auto insurance. And this is this is pre bringing stuff up on your smartphone. So now auto insurance, you can just show an email with a number on it or log into a website and show some sort of verification. But this is back in the day of paper, and you had to have paper, proof of registration and proof of insurance and registration. And these guys were like, no, we have to have the original. And I was like, well, then what if I get stopped by the police, then what do I show them? And it's like, we have to have it. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm driving this piece of garbage truck around and have no proof of insurance on me. I'd have to call, physically go to a payphone and call the auto insurance, and go through all this hell, and then return the truck after a nightmare move. Return the truck, and I was like, okay, can I have my insurance back? It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you have my proof of insurance paperwork. No, we don't. We don't do that. I was talking to the exact same guys, and they said, we don't do that. That's illegal. We can't do that. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. And so I just, had to start getting angry as hell and say, go into, you put it in the file. I saw where you put it in that file. Go into that file and give me my auto insurance. I'm not leaving until you give me my proof of insurance back. And of course, it's not, we don't have it. We wouldn't have done that. And then they go over there like, oh, it's here. And then they give it to me. Like, what the fuck? And of course, I'd already paid, they already had all my money. And luckily, nothing happened to the truck or anything. So I wasn't negotiating. And I wonder if that's I wonder if that's a tactic where if they have to like strong arm you and like charge you, a bunch of money for damage to the truck, or if they're trying to, if they end up using that as leverage or something. I have no idea, but it was so bizarre. It's just like, yeah, really, really bizarre. Just these kids making up stuff as they go along with their little weird sales jobs, and just like making it so miserable. Because anybody that's renting their own truck for moving is doing it themselves. It's a horrible ordeal. It's a lot of physical labor, and just moving across town, it's like so ridiculously expensive to hire movers. So doing it yourself is a lot of work, but when you're younger, it makes the most sense, and they just make it so ridiculous. Yeah, I was really surprised how terrible that was. Yeah, I had the cops in Pennsylvania take my proof of insurance too. I have bad luck with proof of insurance. I get ticketed for speeding, and they took my insurance, and I was like, "Well, I gotta." Okay, so I guess that was to guarantee like I would pay the ticket or something, because I had out of state plates. So that's probably what that was. Is they probably just get people, getting ticketed and like, screw you, I'm never coming back here again, because it won't come up until you're stopped again. So if you never get stopped again for speeding, you can just ignore the tickets, and there'll be a bench warrant or probably something out for you. But it may never come up again. But that really sucked, because that was Christmas. Yeah, that was Christmas. I was like super high on cold medicine. I was like really, really messed up on cold medicine, and was worried that I was going to come across, as intoxicated. But yeah, there wasn't any suspicion of that when I was stopped. But they took my insurance, maybe my registration too. They took my paperwork. I was like, I need that, and they said, well, you have to. You can get it when you pay your ticket. And I wasn't in a good state. I was really, getting the flu like I do every year, and visiting my family. That doesn't look like a tomato, does it? And I was like, okay, whatever. Just glad they didn't arrest me for driving while messed up on NyQuil or whatever I had. Too many fruits and vegetables is going to look weird. What's another weird thing? But yeah, that was really weird. So I just had to wait forever and pay. It wasn't much money, but they really forced you to pay it. I guess they just had a lot of abuses. Yeah. All that stuff they should just photocopy, and now they can just take smartphone pictures and stuff. So that kind of stuff should never come up. But Pennsylvania's pretty shady, though. Especially Western Pennsylvania is really shady. They do all kinds of speed traps and stuff to screw over people, from outside the state, out of state drivers and stuff. Because so many people, you have to, most of the time, if you're going from the Midwest or most parts of Western U.S., Pennsylvania is the best way to get to New York. So there's a lot of people, that have to deal with Pennsylvania to get to New York, and it's so they've established a great way to screw everybody in various ways, and they make the speed limit is like 10 miles an hour slower than everywhere else. And it's a big state. It's a really long state. That's why it's Eastern and Western Pennsylvania. So Eastern Pennsylvania is like Philadelphia and more East Coast. Western Pennsylvania is Appalachia, basically. Ugh, yeah, it's horrible. All right. Sorry, any Pennsylvanians out there listening. I've had a lot of miserable time with your state. Yeah. They just suspend. Yeah. I haven't had to deal. I mean, it's been so long since and knock wood, I haven't had to deal with that here. So I don't even know what the rules are here. But I haven't had to deal with any of that for so long. It's been really nice, because you almost never in Los Angeles. I drove for 10 years. I had a cop stop me once because he was running across the street. And it was like I was coming back from work, and it's that time of day, like between 5 and 6 or whatever, where the sun is like setting, and it's aimed directly down the east-west running boulevards, and so I couldn't see anything, and so I headed down this like 6-lane kind of boulevard, And this cop, there's some call going on. The fucking idiot doesn't do a U-turn. He parks across the 6-lane street, jumps out of his car, and runs across. And I barely saw him and slammed on the brakes. And he was like going to pull me out of the car. I guess he was so amped up on adrenaline, whatever was going on there. He was going to pull me out of the car, but then whatever was going on in this house across the street was like, okay, I got to deal with this. So fuck you, get out of here. But he was ready to just go to town on me. That was really bizarre. So no ticket or anything came of it, but that's the most I've had to interact. I think I had a U-turn ticket. A motorcycle cop. Yeah. Like did that thing. I guess I looked young to him, and he did that thing where, pulled out. It was really busy. I forget where it was, but it was kind of like New Jersey. It had those divided highways where everything's a no U-turn. And if you miss your turn or can't get over, you're totally fucked. So I did that thing where I just, I pulled up into the left turn lane and I just did a U-turn before it was right as the light turned green. I did a U-turn before the other cars started coming the other way. Of course, there was a motorcycle cop like hidden in the traffic. So I pull into the parking lot, pulls me over, and just this guilt trip lecture. It's like, why did you think you could do that? And I think he thought I saw him and I did it intentionally or something, because he was like so personally offended that I would do something so stupid right in front of him. But I didn't see him. And he's a little tiny guy, of course, and like most cops are, and they're all angry. And but he was so mad that I like saw him, didn't see him as authority or didn't see him as a threat, and did some, jackass maneuver in my car. And yeah, it was it was weird. It was like being yelled at by your mom. Like, this is weird. Are you okay? But yeah, that was about it, though. I mean, and so for 10 years, that was it. That was the extent of like having interactions with the police. And that means there's just not enough cops anywhere. You almost never see police because everything's just so spread out and they're so understaffed. But then when you do see a police, they're, not doing anything very well. They're attacking Rodney King, or they're doing something. Yeah. Do better, Pennsylvania. Yes, exactly, Unknown Girl. Pennsylvania. Right. Yeah, so yeah, Eastern, nobody needs to know this, but if you're not from the U.S., Eastern Pennsylvania is Philadelphia, Western Pennsylvania is Pittsburgh. So Pennsylvania is also like Ohio and maybe Indiana, part of that, what they call the Rust Belt. In America, it used to be around the Great Lakes, the steel industry. So a lot of steel mills, and they were all, making steel for Detroit, for the auto industry. So that whole thing developed. And then when the auto industry left the U.S., there's no need for the steel. All those plants shut down. So literally along the lake, there's all these giant refineries that are just rusted out buildings. So they call it the Rust Belt as an insult to that dead industry. But there is just like nothing. There's so little job opportunities there, because it used to be, like in Detroit, it was everybody worked for the auto industry, and in a lot of the Midwest, everybody worked for steel plants. Steel workers were, some of the best paid, best supported jobs, although you're dealing with hot molten steel all day. But that built, during the early post-war, that built most of America, all the girders and steel for sheet metal for cars and everything. And then they started making cars from plastic. All right, what's a third thing that wants to be a Christmas ornament? A snowball, a navel orange, and a donut? Yeah, maybe a donut on its side. Yeah, we'll do there we go. There we go. The stupidity of this image has already made me laugh, so it must be meant to be. Okay. So we do like a nice deep red for this. Oops, wrong layer. There we go. Yeah, it's good that Christmas is on a weekend. It's Sunday this year. Otherwise, everyone would be working, and I'd probably have to work too. Yeah, it's not a national holiday here, and so it doesn't get a lot of respect because basically anybody that celebrates it, the kids just get a gift, and the night of the 20. I'm not sure if they do it the 24th or the 25th. We've never had like a actual Japanese style Christmas party because it's more Americanized, but kids get a present and you eat fried chicken. So you have kind of some kind of Christmas dinner party thing, but it's usually just a bucket of fried chicken. Or you can, or pre-order some, like a rotisserie chicken and a bunch of stuff. You can order something a little bit. This is all going to be kind of the same color. Oh, well. But yeah, it's good it was on the weekend. Otherwise, nothing. Okay, so I can warm this up with, maybe chocolate donut. Maybe a little red. More red. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so they, want people to go shopping and they want you to buy Christmas presents and like I said, it's mostly like more of a Valentine's Day thing. They promote couples to go have romantic dinners and propose marriage and all that good stuff. There we go. But, yeah, more recently it's just kind of fallen apart, just like Valentine's Day here. It's all for nothing. Everyone's so involved and so selfish that they don't want to do anything for anybody else. So why would I buy chocolate for a guy I like? I don't like any guys. And so, yeah, a lot of women buy chocolate for each other as friends because they, don't like the idea of shopping for guys. It used to be you had to get something for your boss, and then for your male coworkers you had to kind of give them like friendly chocolate, tomo choco, like the friendly, like a lower quality friends chocolate, and then the good stuff you get for your boyfriend or or the person that you're crushing on. I don't even think people do that anymore. Like, they don't even have feelings for each other anymore. They just, hook up on dating apps, and then they don't have normal crushes and interaction. They're just like, if I can't hook up, I don't see the point. Yeah, it's crazy. It feels a little scary too. The people that kind of crack the code on hookup culture, but actually in the real world, like, don't have any, game, or aren't charming, or have zero charisma, but they've cracked like the kind of photos they need to take, the kind of things they need to say, and all that stuff to successfully hook up on dates. That's a whole weird scene. And I think there's women too. It's the same thing with women that actually they would not be getting the kind of interest in the real world that they're getting on apps. They've just kind of cracked the code about how you play the game, and that leads to some real mental patients. That's I don't know. It's a real bias, but real troubled individuals. Dating, and they're not looking for love, they're looking for validation and attention. So if you start with that in mind, it must be easier to deal with these people, because it's just like, yeah, of course, they don't care who I am. I'm just a follower or a fan, a part of a group of people that feeds their ego. So of course they don't want a relationship. Of course nothing they do is going to make any sense, because it's all just based on their insane narcissism. If you start from there, it's probably pretty easy then to tolerate the people that you meet. All right, there we go. It's all coming together. Oh, maybe I need... Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe I won't do the super bright reflection. I can't even imagine. I feel really sorry for, like, weird older guys that want to date, like, 20-year-olds. And older guys, I mean, like, 40-year-olds. Like, ancient guys, like 40-year-olds. That's got to be such a nightmare in this day and age. I guess it always sucked, but it seems particularly terrible now. Just people on their phones. All right, the candidates for Christmas tree ornaments were pretty lousy this year. Oh yeah, that's it. Just finish it. Finish it. There we go. There we go. Oh, I'll put some reflection on the frosting part. Maybe even the orange too. Shiny skin. Oh, and that's right. That's why I did the little off-white for the snowball. All right. The snowball is melting. I hope that reads like a snowball. Oh, wait. Should I do the outline blue as well? Does it read more snowball like that? No, that's fine. I think it's fine. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Unknown Girl. I remember downloading Tinder ages ago, but I didn't put a photo or info. Had heaps of people send me a request straight away. Wow. Yeah. And guys, I mean, I think they had to... Well, the things that they've done, like if you look up any videos of people that have like interviewed the people making apps and stuff, and they talk about their stats, their data is really depressing. It's like the was it like the 80-20 problem, whereas 80% of the women on dating apps are trying to date 20% of the men. So, and when you're talking about the balance of sexes, I think it's probably many more men than women, and they realize that men are so have no discretion like using them, so they will just if you're saying yes and no to people, they'll just say yes to everybody, just to hope to get some sort of match. So they had to like right away limit the amount of yeses that men could give, because they'll say yes to anything, and women of course were more discreet about it. But yeah, those stats are really depressing, and how they kind of cracked the whole thing. It's just like, ladies' night at bars and stuff. It's all to try to correct the, weird imbalances. But I really think that the huge mistake was the first, like Tinder, the first successful dating app. I think actually Grindr was first. So the gay dating app, which is of course more, and I'm not trying to like, be, creates, some sort of, talk about some sort of stereotype, but it's much more hookup culture. It's much more coming from an idea of hooking up. It's people that are just looking to meet people, And it's not a getting married, especially because I think when it was invented, we didn't have gay marriage. Oh, not blue. We didn't have gay marriage in the U.S. So it's much more hookup oriented. So of course, if you take that same thing and try to adapt it to straight dating as a straight dating app, it's going to be messed up because it's going to be skewed towards hookup culture. The whole mechanism and everything is going to be built for that. And there's a lot of people that's not what they're on there for. But I think people figure it out pretty fast that, yeah, this is what I have to want, or else why am I even using this stupid thing? But yeah, it's just, created such a weird... I'm just glad I missed all of that. That's the one good thing about being old, is I've never used a dating app. I can't imagine the bleak landscape of stuff out there, and how it skews so strangely. This is on a new layer, right? Yep. Okay. It just skews towards certain types, and it just like feeds the narcissist. And so if you're not built like that, it's so bleak. And you actually think, like apps like that can convince you that you're not attractive, that you're unlovable, and it has nothing to do with that. It's just like you're just not participating at this weird level that everyone on there is that's kind of working at this weird what's a good way to say it? Just kind of not virtue signaling, but what's the other thing? Just sending these weird signals that, I want to put push on the card. And if you're just not going to play that weird game, then you're going to feel very, very horrible. And if you just, go out, go out into the real world. Oh, make it smaller. There it is. Yeah, you'd realize you're not so terrible. But those apps are never going to tell you that. I think that's probably true too with social media, like bullying and stuff on social media, like people just thinking like, this is my life, like the people that are harassing me on social media, this is the extent of the world, and things are never going to be better. It's really depressing. All right. Come on. Okay, so what's maybe just a house? But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And so it's weird, a system that's meant to benefit only, I guess that's like a lot of systems, but only meant to benefit a very small part of the population, but nobody understands that they're not in on it, they're not part of it. You all have this illusion, maybe maybe I'm doing okay. Maybe I have a chance. The game is fixed. Alright. This is the worst Christmas card ever. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and it's hard. It's, people don't understand the whole... it gets better, or I guess no, that's not true. I guess now it's like swung so dramatically the other way that people that shouldn't be so proud of their looks or whatever are getting all kinds of like weird reinforcement, to kind of counteract that hateful stuff that they had to deal with. There's way too much of the "you're amazing." Okay, well, you're not amazing, but you're fine. You're okay. No problem. But yeah, that's right. Everything is, yeah, that's exactly what's happened, is it's reversed itself into, no, you're absolutely amazing. People shudder when they see you, but you're amazing. Sorry. I'm just entertaining myself. Uh, yeah, and that's the interesting thing. The interesting difference. There was watching some person that talked to the app people, and we're talking about the different dynamics and stuff. The interesting thing that's happened, and it's really screwed women up. I think young women, all the attention they get on dating apps and the opportunity that they have. They have this really weird, unrealistic kind of view of things. But the thing that women have that's different from men is, men are thinking, well, if I'm not getting attention, I need to make more money, or I need to, work out more, or, buy a nice car, have a nice watch or something, display some conspicuous, wealth signals to get women interested. But women can look on dating apps and just imagine, like, everything is a possibility, and everything is about them choosing what they want to be. Oh, maybe I could be a doctor's wife, or maybe I could be a girlfriend of a lawyer. Maybe I could date, a successful athlete, or a famous athlete. Like, they have all these things, so they're just changing their identity based on who they could be, and they see it as all possible because they get way too much positive reinforcement, and they don't realize these, like, I don't know what good terms. I don't want to use, like, alpha or whatever, but these, like, high performing, high status, I guess. I don't know. But these high status guys aren't interested in them at all, but will use them. They will, use them for whatever. But they're not going to, there's nothing, you're not going to become a wife or a serious girlfriend of any of these people. But that's what you imagine. So you can easily kind of put yourself into, wow, I can have so many of these things. I can change my life so much just by, who I choose on these apps. And it's very different from the guy's experience. All right. Just get a puppy. Exactly. Unknown girl, you've got it. Just get a damn puppy. Stop messing with people's lives. There we go. Oh, maybe put a shadow here so it looks like it's popped out. Okay. Oh, maybe I should put some musical notes or something. Let's see if that works as far as reading as it's playing. Oh, maybe make it a little more narrow. Am I doing this the wrong way? I can't remember which way no, I don't know. Maybe I should do just a stock image so that it reads more abstract. Yeah, something like this. And super low and super here. And any watermarks on this? Nope, I don't think so. And then chop it off a little bit so we're not using very much. Oops. All right, let's distort it a little bit too. So it looks like it's kind of... Yeah, I wish there was a way to get across how ugly the... like how like, you know... weird and synthetic it is. And cut it off here, maybe. Oh yeah, maybe there is. Maybe there's a an effect I can put on the... is there a filter that'll... yeah, like pointillize or crystallize? I'll try a couple of these and see what happens. That's not it. Facet. That did nothing. Undo. Fragment, mosaic, pointillize. What about a weird like color halftone thing? Yeah, that doesn't... yeah, I want to just like make it look more pixelated, right? Like it's digital, you know, like it's like shrieking digital music. Facet fragment? Nah, what does that do? I guess I'm... oh, that's right. I'm at such high resolution that I have to do a huge... the distances and things for the effects have to be huge or else they're not going to be detectable. Okay, so one more try here. So pointillize, but huge cell size. And I can't do it monochrome. No, pointillize is not right. Mesotint. What is mesotint? Oh. Coarse dots. Long lines. It's impossible. Yeah, it's just way too high resolution. Okay, maybe halftone with huge sizes. Yes, so like 800. No, maximum is 127. 127. Oh, okay. So, sorry, one more. So 60. Yeah, it's not gonna... come on. 30? Yeah, it doesn't... yeah, you can't see it as music anymore. All right, one more. There we go. Yeah, something like that. Where it's kind of weird. It'll... if I reduce it, or when I reduce it, it might do some weird banding, though. But that might be cool. It'll make it look terrible. All right, so terrible sounding music. Or should we just leave it normal? Oh, yeah, that's right. No cash. Hey, Yum, how's it going? Thanks, Grandma. Just a shitty chiptune Christmas Christmas song. No money. How's it going, Yum? Oh, for the Tinder photos. Oh, that's right. Yeah, get a puppy for the Tinder photos. That's true too. Yeah, that's evil. People using dogs, but people, I remember that in Los Angeles, people get dogs literally so they can go to dog parks and meet women. So you try to get an interesting dog that's a really cute puppy because then you've got this like time, but then you have this pet that you hate or you have no love for, and you're going to have it for many, many more years when you just needed it to find a date. Yeah. But get a dog is probably a good thing for a lot of people to do instead of trying to play some unwinnable game. All right, there we go. Okay, so A horrible musical Christmas card and candidates for Christmas tree ornaments. All right. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I'll leave the music like that then. Just regular. Yeah, I wanted to try to get across that it was, shrill and digital, but I don't think so. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Homeless people and dog. Yeah, I saw there was some horrible video of some animal rights people trying to steal dogs from homeless people because they knew, that's why they have them. They don't have them to, you get better donations when it's like, oh, feed the puppy. Yeah, that's horrible. But I guess, and especially dogs, we've done such horrible things to them genetically to get desirable short legs and floppy ears or whatever, that the sins have already been committed against them. All right. Okay, cool. So let's do some comments. If there are, hopefully we'll get to some comments someday here on these old cartoons. All right. Yeah. Unknown Girl saw that. The orange is back, baby. That's right. I didn't even think about that. I was just trying to think of round things. The orange is there. Thanks for noticing. Yeah, that was maybe a totally unconscious thing. All right, comments. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, it looks like I'm looking at the comments and I try to orient everything so it makes visually more sense. Okay, so we stopped at May. I think I went a few days into May last time, recklessly. So May 1st was the not being non-transferable and non-refundable limited and airline tickets options. All right. I guess I was doing a lot of flying, so I thought airline tickets would be a good subject for a cartoon. May 2nd, the empty tube took strange delight in describing his life at the end of the roll. All right. Here we go. My incorrectly drawn. So every single tape measure I draw is always wrong. Yeah, because I should make it go up a little bit and then put the tab down. But these tabs they really have a lot of give, so they can be totally reversed. Some days were just immeasurably bad. I should have drawn it better because that's a great joke. May 4th, what brought them together was their hatred for soda pop. Yeah, had to do. So in the U.S., there's like regions of the U.S. I think it's like more East Coast that says soda, and then the Midwest and kind of the middle of the country says pop. And it's funny enough, the South, southern states in America call everything Coca-Cola because I think it started off as soda fountains, soda drinks. Started out at soda fountains, so they literally put syrup and then put the soda water in. But Coca-Cola was a major brand, so everything is Coca-Cola. So if you order Coca-Cola in the South, some places, they will say, what kind of Coca-Cola do you want? And you can say, I want Sprite, because that's a kind of Coca-Cola or whatever. You can say, I want orange or whatever. And they don't mean like a flavored Coke. They mean, a type of soda. Grape soda is Coca-Cola. Whatever. Yes, that's a odd thing about the U.S. is they're weird. Weird way that they have to call everything. And it's just how the companies, rolled stuff out and did confusing marketing and all that stuff. Or just let people, say things wrong. As long as you're buying in it, you can call it whatever you want. All snacks yearned for food legitimacy. So snacks are not legitimate food. I guess that's peanuts or pistachios. Pistachios are kind of legitimate. All right. May 6th. Things took a turn for the worst when the battery found out exactly where he was going. Oh, no. A rectal insertion joke? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Terrible. May 7th. The birthday candle wondered why he had to be shaped so specifically. Yes, he's only good for one birthday. Yeah, I like those candles with a number, and they don't burn for very long, so they just have that little melted divot, and the number's still there. So you got to wait for the 18th birthday, and then the 80s to come around. I guess if you got a lot of kids, you can reuse them. May 8th. Containing French fries was a greasy and thankless job, but he still missed it. Aw, it's little tiny grease spots. I like the little packet of ketchup, but he's not alive. Oh, there's that weird bear. May 9th, 2007. After losing his button nose and googly eyes, he felt his teddy bearness was in danger. Yes, I think, yeah, it's come up before in our random stuff. May 10th. Far from telling her what was showing, he was telling her what to do. Remote. Oh no, he's, what is it? TV guide-splaining? Program guide-splaining. What was showing and when? I wonder if newspapers still do that. They publish like the TV listings. That has to be so weird, and there's only like a few people that are still even using that. May 11th. The only thing not found at the world's largest comic book convention was human dignity. Oh yeah, so 2005. I think I did San Diego Comic-Con only 1 or 2 more years. I think 2007 was the last year that I did it. And by that time, it was totally overrun by Hollywood. Like, it was all people that just want to see the Marvel. Because Iron Man was 2008, but Hollywood had already, like, really, really taken over that. So there's less and less comic books. All the attendees were assholes. They didn't come to the small press area, or any of, like, the indie comics or small press area were totally ignored. It was just people that wanted to, see Star Wars stuff or whatever. It was all real goofy pop culture stuff, and a lot of big brands and stuff started to really have these huge booths, so it started to look very overwhelming. So it started to become a worse and worse show for legitimate comics and artists and stuff. And I think only the Artist Alley did well, but San Diego made this really huge mistake, and I think they're still doing it. But Artist Alley, it's kind of a lottery system to get a spot, and it's a very cheap table. It's a very cheap way to exhibit and sell work at a comic book convention, and you get a whole table and have it for manual splaining, right, and have it for the whole 5 days very affordably. So there's a lottery for the spots, but once you have the spot, if you tell them you're coming back next year, then you automatically get that spot again. So there are people that are so every year it's the exact same people at those tables. So there's no new blood. There's no, rare or interesting people that, can only do those shows like, every, couple of years or every 5 years or whatever. It's the same assholes just like shilling their wares all the time. And, got more and more uninteresting. So, yeah, fuck that Comic-Con. I think all of the Comic-Cons are getting bad. It's just weird cosplay and go watch movie trailers and go see like famous people sit on panels. They lead in a bunch of Hollywood movie stars to make jokes on panels. Yeah, that's just it all went to hell. Used to be a really fun show. May 12th. Any discussion of what is a dignified sound was fruitless. Between a whistle and a kazoo. A dignified sound. May 13th. Oh, there we go. There's minimal effort cartooning right there. He could never quite reconcile his two halves into one cohesive erasing unit. So weren't those like pink is for pencil and like the gray was for pen, or like if it was erasable pen or whatever, it was that like rougher textured rubber. But I just remember that like pen erasers, and I never understood how much ink, ballpoint pen is actually erasable. May 14th. They stood as a monument to unwise shoe purchases. A lot of shoe boxes. Oh, May 15th. The desire to be lit was causing considerable discontent among the dinner candles. The desire to be lit. Okay. May 16th. In this instance, love did not bloom from the sorting error. Male had to sit on top of each other. May 17th. Their awkward attempt at making a Sunday led them to rethink many of their future plans. They couldn't even make a Sunday. Yeah. There's a lot of weird eraser technology now too. Yeah, Japan always has really strange kind of cutting edge stuff, and they have a lot of, instead of whiteout here, they have these tapes I forget what they used to be, what they call them in English, but they're super common here. And so if you make a mistake on white paper, you can just take this tape that has the texture of paper and just put a little, it's I don't have anything, it's similar to this is hobby, this is masking tape for hobby, but it's similar to something like this, except it's shaped more like a teardrop, and you just put it down and just stick a little piece down covering your mistake, and then it has the same texture as paper, so you can write over it very well. So it makes it very clear. It's really good for for if you have to photocopy things and whatever, you can't tell that the paper's been edited. So it's good for counterfeiting or fraud, I guess. But yeah, they don't have, I remember liquid paper, especially for typewriters and stuff. Yeah, you have to paint the white stuff over your mistakes. Okay, so a failed Sunday attempt. May 18th, ice cream scoops were notoriously arrogant around melon ballers. Poor little melon ballers. May 19th, it was the video game controllers that were the hardest hit by the threat of next generation hardware. Oh, they'll be left unplugged. May 20th, he always imagined something much more wonderful would happen with the addition of hot water. He just turned to squishy ramen and chicken soup. May 21st, things always turned ugly at night. Yeah, they have the thing that's really popular here is these masks that are just paper. They're some kind of like paper towel kind of material, wet masks, and you put them on, and they're the shape of the face. They have eye holes cut out and like a little place for your nose and a hole for your mouth, but you look like Leatherface, like, because they're wet. They're in an envelope or a package where they're wet, and you lay this thing on your face for moisturizing, but you look like Leatherface. So I've like had my wife and daughter turn around to me and at night, because it looks like they had some horrible, they were involved in some horrible fire accident or wearing the skin of their victims. They look really surprisingly terrifying, because again, it's wet and it's sticking to your face, so it's kind of skin colored and kind of the color of paper towel, and it's horrifying. Yeah, I think those are very good. Best way to freak out a cat. Yeah, right. Who are you? So May 22nd, the realization that he was composed of individual slices had finally dawned on the loaf. Oh no, he's made of individual sentient slices. I remember this one being particularly bad. His precise nature was the source of all his frustration. A beaker joke. May 24th, unsweetened breakfast cereal despised his dependence on the sugar bowl. May 25th, parsley, sage, rosemary, and butterscotch. A Simon and Garfunkel joke. I think that song, is that an Irish ballad, Scarborough Fair, or is that is that their original song? But yeah, that's as far as I know, it's a Simon and Garfunkel joke. May 26th, with the addition of sugar and water, things became much more pleasant. Making lemonade out of lemons. A very literal description of making lemonade out of lemons. May 27th, he wondered if being Dutch apple required a green card. I don't think is that right? I don't think I drew that correctly. I don't think Dutch apple is it's like a caramelized top. Is Dutch apple the lattice one? I don't know. I have my apple pies wrong. May 28th, he began to suspect she was tap water in a recycled bottle. How disappointing. She's not pure mineral water. Uh-oh. May 29th, this was the worst case scenario for French onion dip. Upside down with his lid off. Ugh. And May 30th. After months in the refrigerator, everything was a little fuzzy. It's a mold joke. Get it? All right. Does May have 31 days? I don't know. Yes, it does. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is one of the, going back to kind of the original ideas. So yeah, all the little styrofoam cup cartoons are part of the original thinking for this. So after losing any beverage holding capabilities, his options were wide open. He had a pencil stuck through it. All right. All right. Yep. This is the golden era of this cartoon. It was still being drawn with a marker, so there was still some life in it. All right, so June, we'll do June next time. So June 1st, the room stood in quiet contemplation of the last piece of cherry cheesecake. Contemplation of? Yeah. Everyone wanted to know who was getting it. All right. Oh, let's see if that helps. If that helps my tone for writing some Christmas jokes. Where are we? All right. So let's try not to edit anymore. All right. So I think the candidates, come on. The candidates for new Christmas tree ornaments were pretty, there's a quicker way to say this, isn't it? There, pretty grim this year. So yeah, you can just say the new Christmas, the new. Yeah, it doesn't shorten it. Let's see. Might be a better way to say this. The new candidates. They're the candidates for new. It's the same number of words. Candidates for new Christmas ornaments. Oh yeah, I don't have to say tree. Candidates for new Christmas tree ornaments were pretty grim this year. I guess it's not too wordy. It just doesn't fit on one line comfortably. The orange is back. All right. The candidates for new Christmas tree ornaments were pretty grim this year. All right. And something about, actually they should be frowning, shouldn't they? Yeah. Everybody but are they reacting badly to the card, or is everything reacting badly to him playing the horrible music? Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Always I think of oranges though for Christmas, because a lot of like retired relatives, also you have like great aunts and uncles and whatever that retired to Florida or even California. They send bags of oranges as Christmas presents, and mostly as a kind of fuck you, you're in the middle of winter and we've got orange trees in full of fruit. But I think it's a retirement thing. Like if you have family members that have retired to different parts of the country. As a gift, they send oranges. K5, how's it going? Yeah, but I remember as a kid there always being bags of oranges around, and how strange that was. And also too, I think not only sending, but some people did. They liked Christmas, like they didn't want to spend the whole winter up north, but they would come back for Christmas, and so they'd come back tan and bringing oranges. Yeah, that happened as well. So I guess we have to write the joke first and maybe put some frowns in there when we decide. So his his inability to play any other song made Christmas quite brutal. Something about the same song again, again. Or his shrill, or it's not shrill, it's like a how would you describe like that chip tune, kind of really that piercing, yeah, his piercing digital piercing digital rendition of only one specific one specific Christmas song was brutal. I don't know if brutal is a good word, and I don't know if I can spell Christmas. There's need some commas in there. Not one specific. It's of only one. His piercing, comma, digital rendition of only one, or limited to one, or oh hey, oh sorry, oh how's it going? I totally missed that. God damn. Thank you, K5. I am the worst. What would I do without you? Here. Let's see what I missed. Thank you for the follow. If I can get this to work. There we go. Cute Kaiju, thank you so much. One more time. Hey. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, that should have made a sound. Notification. We all thought K5 was complimenting the chat, but no. Thank you, Cute Kaiju. Oh, appreciate the follow. His piercing rendition of a Christmas classic, of a Christmas classic, Christmas standard, was repetitively maddening. His repetitive, his piercing rendition, digital rendition of a Christmas standard was uncontrollable. Was out of control. It's a cute chat. It's a very cute chat. Piercing this. And is it ever the whole song? Like, can they fit in it? I don't think it's ever a whole song. So is it part? So repetitive, or his repeated, so many adjectives. His repeated piercing digital rendition of a Christmas standard almost ruined the holiday. Was slowly destroying their the mood, slowly making them was anything but festive. His repeated piercing digital. I think I've done a joke like this before, and I don't think I got it right then either. His repeated piercing digital rendition of A Christmas Standard was anything but festive. That's a complaining. Okay, so that means that everybody else is sad, right? So he's not sad. He doesn't know he sucks. Like most of us, we don't know we suck. We just keep going. No one has the the generosity of what would you say if somebody didn't tell you you were terrible, but it would help you very much? The kindness of I can't think. His repeated piercing digital rendition of A Christmas Standard was anything but festive. That seems like I've written that exact same thing before. It'll be funny if we find a cartoon that is that exact same thing. The candidates for new Christmas ornaments were pretty grim this year. Or pretty... Is there a better word than grim? Pretty impractical? Pretty... Like they weren't going to be able to fulfill their duties as ornaments, or they weren't right for the job. A donut, a snowball, an orange. Automa doesn't understand boomer emojis. Oh no. What did I miss? Let me pull up some oh, there we go. Nice. All right. I guess that works for pretty grim, yeah. There's nothing wrong with them. His repeated piercing digital rendition of A Christmas Standard was anything but festive. Okay, let's check my repetitive, shrill, digital piercing joke. All right. And this one. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, these holiday ones are just rolling off the assembly line here. Yeah, because I just have something in my head about it. It goes pretty quick compared to yeah, just starting from nothing and like looking for inspiration from the drawings. These actually come together quicker. I guess I should just switch to an all Christmas themed all year round Christmas themed cartoon. Then I could easily go back to daily cartoons if I was only complaining about Christmas. Yeah. It might be. There's well, in Japan, they a very standard New Year's symbol is a mochi, a two-tiered kind of mochi cake that you're supposed to actually use for cooking, but it's also used on like a shrine or an altar as a food offering. And it kind of looks like the emoji for the poop emoji without a top on it, and then there's an orange on top of that. So it's a very standard. There's even like plastic versions of that. You can get like a decorative plastic version to put, on a shrine as a decoration. But there are like a two-tiered mochi cake thing with a mikan, a small Japanese orange on top. So I associate oranges now. I'm all screwed up because I associate oranges with the holidays, with the winter holidays. But that may also be from the same sort of idea that because there's a huge. So instead of taking vitamins or suggesting do some big dietary change in the winter, a lot of, from the southern islands, a lot of Japanese oranges, the mikan, the little mandarin oranges, are available. So people, a very standard kind of wintertime image is someone sitting at a kotatsu, which is a heated, low, sorry, a low heated Japanese table that sometimes has a center for cooking. You can actually like plug in like a hot pot or electric hot pot or something in the center, and you sit, and it's got a blanket. It's a tabletop with like a little blanket around the edge, so it has like a little skirt. And you put the blanket on your lap, put your legs under the table, and there's a heating element, an electric heating element, and maybe it used to be like a box of coals or something, but a heating element underneath that keeps it super warm under there. And you sit at the table and you eat small oranges. And so some kids, especially because the oranges are super sweet and very easy to eat, some little kids eat so many oranges, usually like during the holiday season, that they literally turn orange. Like there's a couple of I've talked about this before, but a couple of my students told me that when they were little kids, they were so obsessed with mikan that they ate so many that their skin started to turn orange. Very funny. It's just a temporary thing, and I'm not sure if that's an Asian thing or what. I've never heard that before Japan, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's a specifically some sort of Asian type thing. I don't have any idea. All right, and the last one is digital rendition of a Christmas stand was any festive. All right. Yeah, but that's very traditional. So that's how you get your vitamin C and kind of fight colds and stuff during the winter. Here is just eat a lot of little oranges. So you can mail order big boxes of mandarin oranges or mikan. Call them here. So yeah, oranges for me now are always associated with the winter holidays, but that's just because of Japan. Oh, that's an interesting idea, Yum. Yeah, that's very true. There's so many, and if I went like international too, you could easily probably fill the entire year with today is National Pet Day, and yeah, there's probably so many things. A lot of those would get pretty political though, I think, because recently we've had so many LGBTQ specific days, like Trans Awareness Day or Pride, or there's so much stuff, so it might get unfunny very fast, or difficult to joke about pretty fast. I don't know. All right, are we ready for the convenience store? I've got a pretty fun one this week, too, actually, that I was really curious about. So this is a nostalgia that I have no nostalgia for, so it'll be kind of fun to see how this goes. All right. Okay, so this is very strange. So there was a whole series of these, and I picked the most palatable looking two. But they are so school memories, school memory bread snacks. So these are memories of types of bread included in school lunches. Okay, so that was a strange thing during the Reconstruction time in Japan. Is the U.S. military or British military that were kind of controlling things decided that they the best thing to do to prevent hunger and to feed people after the war was build bread factories. And Japanese people are not huge fans of bread, so they built these bread factories to make these little loaves of bread, and they were handing out all this bread, and nobody wanted to eat it. They wanted rice, but of course you had to grow rice in fields, so it wasn't and the rice that they could import from wherever wasn't Japanese style rice that they cook with, so that they were kind of stuck. So that same sort of strange thing stuck with school lunches. So the word for school lunch is kyushoku. Kyushoku is the school lunch. If you ever hear an anime or somebody say that, they're referring specifically to the tray lunch at school, that usually public schools. So and actually, I think it's only elementary. Like by junior high school, it's over. You have a cafeteria. So junior high school and high school, you have a cafeteria. But elementary school, which means until sixth grade, you have school lunch, and it's on a metal tray. Oh yeah, sorry. So they're trying to get you very. This is a very retro, maybe kind of like 50s or 60s rendition of like what a standard school lunch looks like. And unfortunately, there are some schools that it still looks exactly like this because they're so not updated. They're so old in style. So a metal tray, a little bottle of milk that could be coffee flavored, which I don't understand why the kids are getting coffee flavored milk. There's a Mikan, there's a little orange, and some little pickles or something, little vegetables, some sort of soup. There's no rice though. Interesting. Yeah, I guess so. No rice, but there's bread. So these are two flavors of this sort of bread, and a lot of the times it's just a kind of elongated dinner roll, like looks like a little hot dog bun or whatever, wrapped in plastic. And most kids don't like it. They don't eat it. And so there's a lot of jokes about, hiding them in your desk until they get stale and then trying to figure out how to throw them away because the kids don't like bread. And there's actually a lot of wheat allergies among Japanese kids. So maybe, it's actually very, your stomach gets very uncomfortable after eating bread. But yeah, so the 22nd year of the Meiji era, so 1889 in Japan was the very first school lunch. So it's been going on that long since the 19th century. Japan has been doing these school lunches, and there's a lot of controversy about how the quality and how the meat and the materials that they use for or ingredients that they use for school lunches. One of the defenses of Japanese whaling industry was that they would use the whale meat for school lunches. Like it was so when you see like the Cove and some of those, the documentaries about the insane slaughter that Japan does with their whaling industry, their one excuse, aside from research and the resources and things that they want, the oils or whatever they want from the whales, is that but we use the meat for school lunches, and they literally do. It's a very fatty, very not super delicious type of meat, but they include whale meat sometimes in as one of the options in school lunches. So it's kind of crazy, and sometimes they I've seen some newspaper articles and things compare. This is what prisoners eat, and it looks like a gourmet, like a Michelin rated Japanese restaurant, like the types of food that's on the tray of a prison lunch. And this is what school kids get, and it's like a loaf of bread in plastic and a piece of whale meat and a bottle of milk. So it's always been a little controversial about how different school boards and things, the quality and how they supply school lunches. So, kids have a mixed, mixed feelings, or there's a lot of things in school lunches that they hate. And I think I talked about the fish cake soup that was shockingly horrible. There were these little gray fish cakes, these little like pressed disc fish cakes that were obviously like, whatever skin and cast off kind of, parts of a fish in processing. Kind of like a McNugget. Like these are the non-fried version. These are like just if you wanted to make a fish McNugget, that's what these would be. But the idea was also that they would be a source of calcium for the kids. So the calcium in the fish cakes were fish bones. So there are crushed fish bones in these cakes. And there's little fragments, and if you bite it just the wrong way, you get a tiny little fragment of fish bone like in the roof of your mouth. So they're incredibly treacherous to chew. They're very soft. They're like a McNugget. They're very soft, and they're not breaded or anything. They're just floating in soup. And but they have fish bones in them because these are digestible bones. These are bones you could actually chew and digest. But if you bite it just the wrong way, you're getting like tiny little splinters. It's like chewing fiberglass. It's just insanely strange. And so I can understand a lot of kids having terrible memories and not liking that, because you stick the roof of your mouth with a little bone from your fish cake soup, and all day you can feel miserable about it. So in the early days, the food was served in porcelain bowls, on metal trays. After World War II, things were cut and reduced due to food shortages. 1944, approximately 2 million school kids in the major cities received the school lunches. Food shortages continued after the war. But it was a program that was like nationally implemented. Oh, I thought, they're not going to specifically talk about the bread. Oh, here we go. In 1950, elementary school age kids in 8 major cities received a complete lunch in addition to bread made from wheat flour from America. So the bread roll coupled with potato stew, croquette, sliced cabbage, and milk was a very typical 1950s school lunch. So that's exactly. I think we're looking at a 50s style, and so the when they refer to this kind of nostalgic era of Japan, they usually say Showa era. So the Showa era is kind of post-war until 1989. So one of the longer eras, longer rules of Japanese, and so this is very Showa style, very nostalgic in that way. And so bread rolls became the norm. And then, sometimes though, something that might be a little bit better is a fried bread. So there would be, kind of like curry pan, if you've ever had that, or some of the fried meat buns. Some of the fried bread was a little bit more delicious because it's a little oily, has a little more flavor. So we've got an example of that today. So by the 70s, though, the menu started to vary a lot more depending on regions. And then by 1976, they started including rice. So that was like, what kids wanted the whole time. They didn't want a cold piece of, a cold little loaf of bread or bread roll. They wanted rice. And finally, by the 70s, it was pretty standard. Oh, interesting. Oh, but in the 90s, there was a bad rice crop. So they limited the use of rice until 2000. Interesting. Yeah, so these bread rolls kind of like, came and went in school lunches, but have never been particularly popular. And just like most public schools, the menu is different every day. So some days, oh no, bread roll, or some days, there was rice. So just kind of like pizza Fridays or whatever. It kind of came and went with so it fluctuated. So here we go. So the two types that I was able to find. So this is on butter. So on as in anko, as in the sweet bean. So sweet beans and butter bread. So this little roll is a butter roll with some sweet red beans inside. And this one is a fried bread. So what do they call it? Karindo. Karindo is the fried bread flavored like sweet soybean powder. So kinako. Kinako powder is a soybean powder that they often mix with like confectioner's sugar, and it's got a nice like gentle sweetness to it. They use it in like New Year's and some desserts and things. It's a pretty common kind of flavoring. So a fried bread these are both kind of sweet versions that's flavored like soybean powder. Yeah, and these are both. Yeah, both of the lunches are shown exactly the same. So this is what the breads were pretty standard looking. Yeah, like they're just like little dinner rolls. And so these are snacks that are supposed to emulate that flavor. So if I was a kid from the 60s or 70s in Japan, maybe the taste of these would be crazy nostalgic. And that's kind of what they're going for, because this little mark is a very school mark, this little sakura stamp, kind of sakura hanko. And so it's all about nostalgia of your school days, which Japan is like, you guys must know from any anime or manga, they're obsessed with us. Oh, these are not individually wrapped. The other ones are individual. Oh wow, they're very fried. They're very fried smelling. So this kind of looks, like a... Oh, very light sugar, barely, yeah. So it mostly tastes that fried, the kind of fried battered flavor. And just a little, I can't taste the kinoko at all. Mostly just like sugar. So it tastes almost like a churro. Yeah. I've only had just a plain dinner roll, kind of bread rolls for the kids' school lunch. So I've never had a fried one. But there's almost no soybean powder flavor. It's mostly just the fried flavor. But it tastes kind of cheap, so maybe they are hitting the hitting the flavor of that bread. Yeah, they're just kind of lightly sugared, fried little things. Yeah, it mostly just tastes like fried bread. Yeah, not particularly Japanese in the flavor, but it may be close to something original. Well, those are okay. Let's see how I've had from like bakeries and things on butter rolls. So I'll have a pretty good idea of what they're going for here. So sweet beans are really popular in Japan for desserts, but for Western people, it's kind of a strange flavor, because it's basically like if you mashed up pinto beans and then sweetened them with I'm not exactly sure if they use like black sugar or what they use. It's not honey. Oh, these aren't individually wrapped either. Yeah, I guess that from the package I thought there might be. Oh, these are really cute though. Look at little buns. So the yeah, they don't really smell like bread. I hope these are kind of edible. But oh, okay. Oh, wow. It has a texture of bread on the outside, and it tastes like a bread roll. The butter tastes not so strong, but there you go. Look at the little red beans. There's a little center of red beans, yeah, which is not very good. It's not very sweet. But it's strange because so they make this sweet bean thing, this anko, that is sweetened beans, but it's very starchy and very bean textured and flavored. So it's odd. It's an odd combination of but it's never super sweet. It's just sweetened, lightly sweetened smashed beans. So it's kind of like if you imagine like frijoles or refried beans, but they had sugar in them. Yeah, the beans in these are not very good. So I guess the nostalgia is that they're... Ooh, yeah. I don't know what they did to make the... Because anko is not very difficult to make, but maybe one with a lot of preservatives or something. Something that lasts. But they're very cute the way that they made them look like little baked rolls. Yeah, but the center is pretty gross. It's kind of waxy and fakey. The bean flavor is kind of very artificial, which is rare. Yeah, you can see it's not just beans. There's some kind of stiffening and suspension type additive, whatever the chemistry terminology for baked goods is. They do taste like cheap dinner rolls. They have the outside does taste like really lousy, kind of buttery dinner rolls. So they hit that pretty well. But the inside is not good at all. It's weird. But maybe this is close to the disappointment of school lunches in Japan. So I think this will probably be a limited type thing. Very odd. So neither of these is particularly good. I was hoping one of them would be good. But these are kind of the sweet variations that you would get to kind of break up the monotony of just eating a dinner roll on your school lunch, or like a hot dog roll. So this is the on butter, yeah. So anko or azuki is just the name of the beans themselves. So when it's smashed up, it's anko, and it's okay. It tastes like a really cheap dinner roll, and these are just like very fried flavored. So I'm not sure how well they're really hitting the simulation of these flavors. But maybe the cheapness, the kind of cheap, poor imitation of the flavor, is part of the aesthetic. It was a thing that I never understood, and I wonder if it was totally decaffeinated or if there was actually caffeine, because I wouldn't put it past a school, public school to caffeinate kids so that they had more energy, so they didn't get all like sleepy and logy after lunch. I wouldn't put it past the public schools to put coffee, to specifically give the kids coffee to keep them, full of energy after they started digesting their lunch. But coffee flavor, it's very sweet, but coffee flavored milk was always really surprising to have at school. So I'm not sure if it was decaf or not. So it didn't work. It didn't trigger any nostalgia. In fact, it's a very strange, cheap flavor. I should have known. But they're really going for, with this look here, they're really going for the old nostalgic feel. Yeah, look at all those metal. They're just like aluminum dishes. It's so funny. It's very prison food like in appearance. The public school lunches here. So always the relationship with bread. Funny thing is, recently there's this kind of gourmet bread movement. So there's a lot of Shokopan bakeries that are opening little tiny shops, and they're usually coffee shops, a little like a cafe, but they make their own white bread. The loaf flavor, like little loaves of white bread. Not little, they're actually quite big. And each one has a little bit different recipe, a little bit different ingredients. But there's some areas now in the cities where there's a little row of bread shops, and all you smell is baked bread, and it's all these like very hip looking cool cafes that are just, they have bread and coffee, and it's mostly toasted or butter or anko or something on the bread. But strange nostalgic bread snacks. Disappointment included. Beans. Yeah, definitely the fried crunchy one was much better than that weird simulated. But it's just okay. It's not like anything. Wow. Well, yeah. So that's too bad. But it's a limited time, so they'll go away soon and stop bugging us. All right. Let's go back here. Cereal straws. Ooh. That's cool. That might be after my time. Let me... is it straw? Oh, yeah, right. Straws made from the actual cereal. Oh, yeah, they are. Cocoa Krispies cereal straws. Fruit Loops cereal straws. Nice. I wonder if that was something that would catch on here. Well, kids don't like milk. That's the big problem. Is I think America and maybe Canadian kids too probably drink a lot more milk. Kids hate milk here. That's why they always like are flavoring it and like giving those little bottles in the school lunch. They're trying to get kids to drink milk, but they usually don't want to. And usually they're serving the milk at room temperature, because there's that Asian aesthetic that mostly I think from Chinese medicine, that the temperature of things is a lot about the balance, and your stomach should never be too cold. So a lot of kids had to drink like room temperature milk, and that's why they hate milk. Cow's milk is because it tastes terrible when it's either not hot or cold. Nice cereal straws. Nice. Yeah, here's a I'll throw up here's the Fruit Loops ones. Oh yeah, I should see if there's an example of their use, but that's what they look like. So they look like the cereal in a cylindrical form. Let's show the so actually you can this is funny. I like they're using a martini glass. But yeah, you can drink the milk out of your cereal through a cereal straw, and it'll be even sweeter and even more flavored like the cereal itself. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's just somebody showing them in a... Kellogg's is reviving Fruit Loop cereal straws for a New York City cafe. Yeah, they're showing at the cafe people just drinking bottles of milk. Oh, here's these little scumbag elves showing you what to do. Come here, scumbag elves. Why aren't you? Oops. There we go. There they go. Delicious. So why waste all that time waiting for the cereal to do the milk thing? I bet it's just like frosting in the center. I bet it's just like a flavoring that the milk will dissolve. You know, so like it's like the frosted part of the cereal, you know, like frosted flakes and stuff. It's probably just a sugar coating, so you get sugary milk. And then you can. I wonder though, the thing that might be good is it starts to break down the straw once you dissolve the lining. It looks like chocolate on this Cocoa Krispies one. It looks like chocolate, or it's just sugar. Once you break that down, then the cereal, whatever the straw is made out of, the wheat or corn or rice that the straw is made of, will start to break down. So chewing, like eating that, might be the best part, like the best part of the aesthetic, because it starts to get soggy, and then you just have this tube of cereal. Yeah, I've never had one. Wow, so many. It looks like you could use them in cocktails. The way that they're showing them, it's like they're perfect in cocktails. Yeah, there's another example. Nice. K5. Yeah, some kind of sweetener. Yeah, interesting. They first came out about 12 years ago. Oh, wow. Yeah, so I think I missed them. Drinking cow's milk is an abomination against God. Oh, we've got Yum's vegan side coming out. Yeah, it is pretty brutal, the whole dairy industry. Well, the whole food in general, like the way we get food, the way we get protein and calcium and things, is pretty brutal. But it was never less brutal. It was just less commercialized, less industrial, I guess. The industrial part of it makes it specifically, horrifying. But yeah, nice. Yeah, right. Soggy cereal. Yeah, it's weird. They're back. And then they can just keep rotating. Oh, they've got Apple Jacks, an Apple Jacks version. I like Apple Jacks. Oh. Yeah, so it's all the, was that Kellogg's? Cereals. Yeah, all the kids' cereals from, Kellogg's. All the crazy characters. Yeah, they're just trying to do anything they can with, to make other, snacks or other, types of categories of food with cereal, with the cereal like branding, because there's like snack bars and things. So trying to get out of the breakfast cereal aisle probably, and attract more customers that way. Oh, there's Oreo straws, Oreo sippers. So yeah, it's basically a cereal straw, but it's made from Oreo. Yeah, any way they can trick kids into drinking milk. It's either that. Here's the options, Yum. You can either drink cow's milk or you can chew fish bones to prevent osteoporosis. So I'm not sure. And I wonder how they make calcium pills. Like you can take calcium pills. I wonder how that supplement is made, if they just cook down bone material, like how they actually obtain the calcium. It's probably not much better. Oh, there's sad little cow pictures in this search for cereal straws. Don't drink milk. That's mine. That's for me. Yeah, it's funny. Dinner menu in hell. Yes, that's right. Moldy milk is awesome. There's all kinds of good moldy cheeses out there. Oh yeah, that was so I didn't do it today. I wasn't feeling brave enough, but I and it's maybe going to be lost, but I found a beer snack that's pickles in cheese. So there's little discs of cheese that have Japanese pickles in them. But Japanese pickles are often made from daikon, the radish, the big white Japanese radish. And when they're pickled, they smell horrible. They smell like rotting garbage. Like they smell like something is bad in the refrigerator kind of smell. So there's these cheese snacks. There's these little pieces of cheese that have smelly Japanese pickles in them. And so I bought one of those for the live stream, but I didn't think my stomach was going to be able to handle it this week. So hopefully we'll try it again. But yeah. Oh. Uh-oh. Looks like I'm going to have to wrap up pretty soon here. Looks like my taxi services are requested. God damn. Well, sorry about the short stream this week. Yeah, only 2 hours. But all kinds of Christmas cartooning was made. And we got to look at the revival of cereal straws. Nice. But yeah, I think I have to go shortly. But yeah, thank you everyone for hanging in there. It's good to see people closer to the holidays. I miss talking all the nostalgia and all the strange, like, why are there oranges? Why are oranges always around at Christmas? Nice. But everyone take care, and we'll do this. We'll get one more time before, because it's 20, next time will be 19th, right? 20th, maybe. Well, it's Wednesday, so 20th, yeah. The 20th will be one more, so we got one more stream before the holidays, so I'll try to think of something. Christmas has been really low key this year, so not a lot of like Christmas snacks and stuff. Maybe I'll get one of those boots, those Japanese Christmas boots. You guys have to see those. Those are really weird. They're not much fun in them, but they're such a weird thing. I'm not sure. They must come from some weird European like mistranslation into Japan of Christmas. But yeah, there's boots, Japanese snacks in little plastic boots. All right, everyone. Yeah, I'm glad you could catch. Glad the notification works, and you guys could catch the stream. So Yum and Unknown Girl and K5, take care. It was good to see you, and thank you for the new sub, Cute Kaiju. And yeah, everybody take care, and we'll see you again soon. And so abusecartoons.com is the website, and gocomics.com/domestic abuse is what we looked at for the archive, so you could read all of the cartoons there. And we will do this again next week. So everyone take care. Oh, yeah, Santa hat. There you go. That's right, the Christmas stream. Okay, I will at least have a Santa hat. So this Christmas stream coming next week. Oh, no, Santa hat. Man, my beard's getting gray enough. Or actually white enough. It's going to get pretty brutal. Christmas is going to be traumatic once I go gray. All right, so take care, everyone, and patreon.com/abusecartoons to support the stream and the cartoon. And thank you, Unknown Girl, and thank you, John, for being my eternal loyal patrons. You're wonderful to support things. I thank you so much, and I will be back again next week. So take care, and hope to see you then. Goodbye.